Hi, I'm James from ShareLingo. You are here because you probably want to speak Spanish, and you maybe have tried quite a few things, and now you're coming to ShareLingo because you've realized that you really need to practice Spanish in order to speak it. You know that speaking Spanish can change your life. It can get you a better job. It can just fill in a whole bunch of things. You can help more people, whatever it is. You want to speak Spanish. But one of the things that so many people ask me is, how much do I have to learn and how long is it going to take? So I want to shoot just this little quick, hopefully quick video to kind of tell you what I've found through ShareLingo in how much you have to learn, what you have to do, why you have to do it, and what that means, you know, what is fluency. So we're going to start here. This is the number of words that you want to learn, and then this is how long is it's going to take. So first let me define kind of some different stages of where you're at for what you want to learn. Suppose, first of all, that you just want to know enough words to do your job well. You work in a restaurant, or you work at Home Depot, or you work, you know, someplace where you're interacting with native Spanish speakers and you'd like to do your job better or be able to welcome them or interact with them. To do that, believe it or not, you only need a vocabulary of a couple of hundred words and phrases. Think about this. If you're a nurse, if you know a couple of hundred key words and phrases, how are you feeling? Do you have a headache? Where does it hurt? And you know the natural responses, you can really dial in to communicate with your patients, all right? Now, taking that, so this is like for your job. And no matter what job you're in, this is true. So if you're in construction, or if you're in healthcare, or if you're if you're a school teacher, that kind of thing, kind of in the 200 word area can make you really good. And how much is that? Well, it's hardly anything. Hola, ¿cómo estás? Me llamo James. Soy de Norteamérica. That's 10 words, right? Hello, my name is James. I'm from North America. That's 10 words. So you can learn these words and phrases and get to 200 words really quickly. All right, I'm going to define how long that takes in a minute. The next kind of level that you want to get to, the next kind of break, is kind of in this area, between 1,000 and 2,000 words. This is where you have a conversation. Conversation. I hope you can almost read that. Believe it or not, the average conversation that you have around the dinner table or when you go out with friends to a restaurant, you only use roughly 1,000, 1,200, 1,500 words. That's it. And think about that. It's kind of, you know, you go through the same things. How are you doing? How's your job going? How was last weekend? How are the kids, right? And then the answers. Last weekend was great. We went to the mountains. We went to a concert. We played football. Boy, you know, it only takes about 1,000, 1,500 maximum words to have a really, really good conversation. A conversation where you could meet somebody, find out how they're doing, find out about their family, and have a meaningful, say, 15, 20-minute conversation with them. So that's very realistic, all right? Now, then we got up into the higher areas, and we get into, say, the 2,500, 3,000 area. This is where you're really starting to speak fluently, right? Now let me define that. Speaking fluently doesn't mean that you're a native Spanish speaker, and it doesn't mean that Spanish speakers are when they speak English fluently, it doesn't mean that they are native English speakers. Speaking fluently, according to my definition, is the ability to speak in your target language without translating in your head first, all right? So fluency can actually come at any level here. Fluency, if you can say the word marcador, okay? So if you can say this is a marker, this is a marcador, or I'm looking around me, there's a glass over there. If you know that glass is vaso, and you just know that vaso is glass, right? You don't have to translate in your head. As soon as you see it, that's vaso or vaso de agua, a glass of water, you just know. And so when you're talking in Spanish, if you don't have to manually, kind of think about the translating, you're fluent in those words that you know, okay? So reaching fluency is not really a goal that you have to set, like how many words does it take to be fluent? It's not like that. You set the number of words according to what your objective is. Is it for your job? Is it for conversation? Is it to be able to read a book or watch a television or watch a movie or travel? Whatever your goal is, that's going to define how many words you need, all right? Pardon me. All right, now, how long is it going to take? Well, all right, so the first thing I have here is kind of some green dots that outline, well, if we go from 0, and this one's not working. If we go from 0 and we want to get up the ladder, this is kind of rock star, going in this kind of thing. It is possible in 3 months to get to about 1,000 words and phrases and have that 15 to 20 minute conversation with people. It is possible. All right, people do it. There's a website, Fluent in 90 days or something like that. And the objective there was to be able to have a 15 or 20 minute conversation within 90 days. But the guy that did this, spent like 2 or 3 hours a day studying Spanish and practicing Spanish and doing that. So getting to this level of the big conversation in 3 months, that's a bit of a stretch for most people. Most of us are busy, and we might have more like 10 or 15 minutes, a half an hour to an hour a day that we want to dedicate to our language practice, right? That's much more realistic. The good news is that you don't have to spend 15 or 20 or 30 minutes in a row. If you do 5-minute chunks, like 5 minutes listening to the radio and then 5 minutes reading children's books if you need to, and then 5 minutes doing something else. All those minutes add up. The key thing is to do something every day, not once a week. So what you're going to see, the thing that you're going to see is kind of a curve, and the curve might go up and down. Sometimes you get more, and sometimes you learn faster, and sometimes you learn slower, and all of that. But what is common, if you spend, say, 15, 20 minutes, half an hour a day, is that you'll get to this, to do your job, you will get there pretty quickly, right? 3 months, absolutely. You can get to the point where you're very comfortable with all of the words and phrases that you use wherever you work. Nurse, restaurant, construction, whatever, all right? And then at 6 months, all right, that's a pretty realistic goal as far as getting to where in 6 months you have built up a vocabulary where you can ask people questions, how they're doing, where are they going this weekend, did they like the movie, things like that, all right? And then at 9 months to a year, yes, you can probably go up into that level, and you will get over this. And I've drawn this kind of as a straight line, but like I said, you might go really fast at the beginning and then kind of taper off, and then have little spurts that come up, and sometimes things will just click for you, like all of a sudden it just sounds right, and you're starting to get the masculine and feminine, la mesa and el agua. And then, so the key thing here is that you're always moving forward, right? I don't know about you, but I'm still learning English, for God's sake, right? So I think my English is pretty good. I think I have a pretty high vocabulary in English, but I'm still learning new words. So if you set your goal for being, a native speaker in Spanish, before you even start talking to people, you're going to be waiting forever. So don't. Start talking to real people from day one, really. That's the thing that's going to keep this curve going up at a higher pace. Talking to real people makes it sink in. So I hope that helps answer that question about how many words do I need to learn and how long is it going to take. I'll say it again. The key is to just keep moving forward. Keep learning just a little bit more all the time. And the more you learn, the better it is, and it gives me so much joy to be able to speak Spanish. I didn't say this at the beginning, but it took me, I tried speaking Spanish for many, many, many years. I had trouble doing it, but once it clicked for me that all I had to do was find somebody that I could really practice with, that changed everything, and it got so fun that I could be working with this Spanish speaker, teaching them English. I felt satisfaction that I was helping them navigate our world, but oh boy, that process just taught me so much. Being able to speak with a native Spanish speaker helped it sink in so much. I still had to do some of the other stuff. I still had to listen to the radio and open up a book with vocabulary or Google, how do you say this word, and kind of learn some of those words. But it wasn't painful. It was not anything like what I remember way back in high school, where I was trying to study the conjugation of verbs. Speaking with a native Spanish speaker just changed everything. So if you have any questions about this, or if you want a copy of this or something, reach out to us and let us know. In the meantime, que tenga un lindo día, which means have a beautiful day. My name's James. Thank you so much. Bye.